Have you ever pondered about the boundaries of science and the lengths to which humanity might go to win a war? We often hear tales of experiments that stretch the limits of our understanding, that push the boundaries of what we believe to be possible. One such tale is the Philadelphia experiment, a story shrouded in rumors and whispers of the unthinkable. Picture this. It's the height of World War II, a war that has the world in its grip, a war that has humanity pushing the limits of science and technology in hopes of gaining the upper hand. In the midst of this chaos, there's a supposed military experiment said to have been conducted at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in Pennsylvania, USA. An experiment that was rumored to have achieved the impossible. Now, every story worth its salt has a twist, something that makes you question the very fabric of reality. The Philadelphia experiment is no exception. The outcomes of this alleged experiment were nothing short of extraordinary. We're not just talking about advanced weaponry or strategic breakthroughs here, no. We're diving deep into the realm of science fiction. Invisibility, teleportation, even time travel. Sounds like a plot straight out of a Hollywood movie, doesn't it? But these are the tales associated with the Philadelphia experiment. Tales that have sparked endless debates and have fueled countless conspiracy theories. Tales that make you question whether the line between science and fantasy really is as defined as we believe it to be. But here's the thing about tales. They're often just that, tales. Stories spun around campfires, tales whispered in hushed voices. Yet every now and then a tale comes along that's so unbelievable, so outlandish, it might just be true. So we find ourselves at the crossroads of fact and fiction, of science and superstition. The Philadelphia experiment, a tale so unbelievable it might just be true. Or is it? Stick around, and let's unravel this enigma wrapped in mystery together. The year was 1943. The world was at war, and desperation was the mother of invention. Imagine a ship, a naval destroyer escort named the USS Eldridge, vanishing right before your eyes, becoming invisible not only to the naked eye but also to radar detection. This was the alleged aim of the infamous experiment that unfolded at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The rumor mill was working overtime. Whispers swirled about the involvement of one of the greatest scientific minds of the time, Albert Einstein. His unified field theory, which aimed to merge the forces of gravity and electromagnetism, had been largely discarded by the scientific community. However, conspiracy theorists speculated that it was this very theory that formed the scientific backbone of the Philadelphia experiment. The goal? To bend light around an object, making it invisible. The method? A set of complex electromagnetic fields supposedly generated by powerful generators placed aboard the USS Eldridge. The result? According to the legend, an entire naval vessel vanished into thin air, only to reappear moments later. This was not a mere magic trick, a sleight of hand to fool the enemy. This was an endeavor to push the boundaries of science, to manipulate the very fabric of reality. The stakes were high, the risks even higher. In the midst of global conflict, the need for such a technological advantage was clear. The ability to render a naval vessel invisible could turn the tide of the war. It could save countless lives, change the course of battles, even alter the fate of nations. In the desperate times of war, the genius of Einstein was rumored to have been harnessed for this clandestine military project. The question remains, in the face of desperation and the urgency of war, could the genius of Einstein have been pushed to create the unthinkable? In the desperate times of war, could the genius of Einstein have been pushed to create the unthinkable? The ship was ready, the crew was unsuspecting, and the stage was set for an event that would shatter the known laws of physics. The USS Eldridge, a Cannon-class destroyer escort, was prepped for a routine day. Little did the crew know that their world was about to be turned upside down. The heart of the experiment was the activation of a pair of generators, a supposed concoction of Einstein's unified field theory, designed to bend light and gravity. As the generators hummed to life, the air around the vessel started to shimmer. The ship's steel hull twisted and groaned as if it were alive, and then just like that, the Eldridge was gone. Vanished, swallowed by a curtain of greenish fog. The Philadelphia Naval Shipyard fell into stunned silence. An entire ship, along with her crew, had evaporated into thin air. But the spectacle didn't end there. No, far from it. According to whispers, reports, and murmurs, the Eldridge didn't just disappear, it teleported. Over 300 miles away in the naval base of Norfolk, Virginia, sailors were greeted by an outlandish sight. Emerging from a similar greenish fog was the Eldridge, seemingly unscathed and intact. Eyewitnesses claim it stayed for several minutes before the fog engulfed it once more, and the ship vanished again. Back in Philadelphia, the green fog swirled, and the Eldridge reappeared as if it had never left. The ship was back in its original location, leaving the onlookers in a state of disbelief. A ship teleporting hundreds of miles in mere minutes. It was a concept too bizarre, too surreal to comprehend. Yet the most disturbing part of the tale was yet to come. For when the fog cleared, the ship was indeed back. But the crew was not the same. But that's a tale for another scene. In the blink of an eye, the ship was gone, only to reappear hundreds of miles away. But at what cost? As the smoke cleared, the USS Eldridge was back, but the crew, they were changed. The once bustling ship was now eerily silent, a ghostly shell of its former self. The crewmen, those brave souls who had been aboard during the experiment, were not the same. They were victims of an experiment that had gone horribly awry, forever marked by the chilling effects of the Philadelphia experiment. Reports began to circulate, stories that seemed too extraordinary to be true. Some crew members were overcome with waves of nausea, their bodies rebelling against the unnatural forces they had been subjected to. Others were plagued by severe mental trauma, their minds shattered by the terrifying experience. It was clear that whatever had happened aboard the USS Eldridge had left deep scars, both physical and psychological, yet the horror didn't stop there. Tales of the impossible started to emerge from the shadows. There were whispers of men becoming invisible, disappearing before the very eyes of their comrades. These were not mere illusions or tricks of the light. These men were there one moment and gone the next, as if swallowed by the very air around them. The very laws of nature seemed to have been twisted and distorted aboard the Eldridge. Perhaps the most horrifying of all were the accounts of spontaneous combustion. Men, alive one moment, and reduced to ashes the next. It was a gruesome spectacle, a terrifying testament to the unforeseen consequences of the experiment. The crew of the Eldridge had been transformed into living, breathing time bombs, their lives hanging by a thread. The aftermath of the Philadelphia experiment was a nightmare that stretched the limits of human comprehension. It was an eerie dance of science and the supernatural, a chilling reminder of the dangers of tampering with forces beyond our understanding. Yet, through it all, the survivors of the Eldridge clung to their humanity, their resilience a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. The cost of this experiment was high, the price paid by the men aboard the Eldridge unimaginable. They had paid the ultimate price, their lives forever altered by an experiment that had promised progress, but delivered only horror. In the aftermath of the experiment, the Navy did what any military force would do. They denied everything. The U.S. Navy, in response to the swirling rumors about the Philadelphia experiment, issued a flat-out denial. It never happened, they said. There were no experiments on invisibility, no teleportation, no bending of time and space. The Navy's stance was clear. It was all a fabrication, a tall tale spun by overactive imaginations. But curiously enough, there were no records, no documents, no tangible evidence to support the Navy's denial. No logbooks, no photographs, no first-hand accounts from sailors or officers. The absence of evidence was as suspicious as it was telling. The skeptics questioned this lack of evidence. They asked, if there was no experiment, then why is there no proof of its non-existence? They argued that the absence of any documentation was not proof of non-existence, but rather evidence of a cover-up. They believed that the Navy was hiding something so shocking, so earth-shattering, that the truth had to be suppressed at all costs. The Navy's denial was met with skepticism. The more they denied, the more the rumors grew. The stories spread, morphing and evolving with each retelling. The Philadelphia experiment became a beacon for conspiracy theorists, a tantalizing mystery that begged to be solved. And yet, despite the rumors, despite the skepticism, the Navy remained resolute. They insisted that the Philadelphia experiment was nothing more than a myth, a legend born out of hearsay and speculation. They maintained that it was all a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation of ordinary naval activities. But the questions persisted. The denials, the lack of evidence, the swirling rumors, they all pointed to something more, something hidden beneath the surface. The truth, it seemed, was elusive, cloaked in layers of secrecy and deception. And so, Despite the Navy's denials and the lack of any supporting evidence, the Philadelphia experiment was consigned to the realm of myth and legend. The truth, it appeared, would remain buried, hidden away from prying eyes, locked away in the vaults of history. Yet, like a ghost ship on the horizon, the story of the Philadelphia experiment refuses to disappear. It keeps bobbing along the waves of the collective consciousness, forever shrouded in an inscrutable fog of mystery. Let's turn back the clock to 1955. Enter Morris Jessup, an amateur astronomer and author. Jessup had just published a book on UFOs when he received a strange letter. The writer claimed to have witnessed the Philadelphia experiment firsthand, stirring the simmering pot of speculation anew. This incident is now famously known as the Jessup Affair. Uncanny, isn't it? Now, fast forward to the 70s. The whispers about the Philadelphia experiment had quieted down, but they hadn't been silenced. In the shadowy corners of conspiracy circles, a new theory emerged: the Montauk Project. This alleged sequel to the Philadelphia experiment was said to involve even more mind-bending concepts than its predecessor. We're talking time travel, telepathy, and interdimensional portals here, folks. The Montauk Project, though unproven and largely dismissed by mainstream science, continues to captivate the imaginations of those who dare to dream beyond the known. And that brings us to today. The Philadelphia experiment, despite being debunked time and time again, endures. Its narrative, though battered by the winds of skepticism, remains intact. In the hearts and minds of believers, the USS Eldridge still vanishes, only to reappear in a flash of blue light. Why does this conspiracy persist, you might ask? Perhaps because we as humans are drawn to the unexplained. We're intrigued by the possibility of what could be, even when faced with the harsh light of what is. In the end, the Philadelphia experiment serves as a testament to our collective curiosity, our insatiable hunger for mystery, and our relentless pursuit of the truth, however elusive it may be. Despite all denials, the tale of the Philadelphia experiment sails on, undeterred by the waves of skepticism. So, was the Philadelphia experiment a desperate attempt at scientific breakthrough, or a fabrication born from the chaos of war? Let's take a step back, shall we? And sift through the layers of this enigma one more time. The Philadelphia experiment, as the story goes, was a supposed military trial carried out by the U.S. Navy. Its aim to render the USS Eldridge, a naval destroyer escort, completely invisible to radar and the naked eye. This was supposedly achieved through the manipulation of electromagnetic fields, a concept as fascinating as it is fantastical. Now, the allure of this tale lies in its blend of science fiction, military secrecy, and the chaos of World War II. It's a cocktail that's hard to resist, especially for those with a penchant for the mysterious and the unexplained. But let's ground ourselves in reality for a moment. The scientific community has time and again debunked the theoretical foundation of this experiment. The manipulation of electromagnetic fields to such an extent, they argue, is simply not feasible with our current understanding of physics. Furthermore, there's a conspicuous lack of tangible evidence to support these claims. No official documents, no credible eyewitness accounts, nothing but hearsay and conjecture. Yet, despite this, the Philadelphia experiment continues to captivate. The story has been passed down through generations, fueled by an insatiable human curiosity and a deep-seated suspicion of government secrecy. It's been the subject of countless books, movies, and late-night conversations over a crackling campfire. So where does that leave us? Faced with such contradictions, the final verdict isn't so much a conclusion, but a lingering question. It's a question that challenges our understanding of the world and the limits of human innovation. In the end, the truth of the Philadelphia experiment remains as elusive as the ship itself, lost in the fog of war, the haze of time, and the depths of human imagination.